Obsessed CEO throws himself at me. Chapter 6. Her hair accessories were all out of place and her hair was disheveled. The woman, who was supposed to be in the spotlight, turned pale and was in a pathetic state. "Shanye!" Cindy exclaimed as she rushed on stage. Even though she was extremely worried, Cindy did not forget about Ariel and used her shoulder to nudge Ariel aside. Ariel was wearing heels that were 4 inches high and was standing on the edge of the makeshift stage. The force of Cindy's push sent Ariel tumbling sideways as she lost her balance and was about to fall off the stage. However, she reacted swiftly and protected her head with her hands. That way, even if she had fallen down, it would lessen her chances of having a concussion. However, to Ariel's surprise, she did not land on the ground. Instead, she felt a strong hand supporting her back steadily while another hand was wrapped around her waist as she was being carried off stage. After Ariel stood firmly on the ground, she instinctively turned to look at the person who had saved her. What greeted her was a cold and perfectly sculpted face. Frowning, the man said, "Why are you wearing such high heels? Are you planning to fall to your death?" "I didn't have a choice," Ariel wanted to retort but controlled her mouth. After all, that man was just concerned about her safety. If not for him, she might have already been badly injured from the fall. Ariel swallowed her words and was about to thank him when Henrik rushed over. "My darling daughter, are you hurt? Dad was going to help you just now but Mr. Nightshare was a step ahead of me. Mr. Nightshare seems to treat you really well," Henrik said meaningfully with a concerned expression. On the other hand, Henrik did not even look at Shanye, who was being carried upstairs. That was interesting to Ariel. Regarding her dad, she had almost believed that he was a loving dad who doted on his daughter. What Ariel could not understand was, why would her mother, who seemed so perfect on paper, choose to marry a man like Henrik? Since she was back, she was determined to find out the reason, as she suspected there was more to that than meets the eye. There had to be a secret that she did not know. "I'm fine, Dad. You should go upstairs and take a look at Shanye. I'm not sure what was going on, but she suddenly fainted just now. Hopefully, it isn't anything serious that we should be concerned about." Ariel's expression was soft and serene as she spoke, without a hint of the disgust she felt towards Henrik. She behaved exactly like a sensible and obedient daughter, which Henrik was extremely satisfied with. The man could even be convinced that he must have saved the universe in his past life to have such a perfect daughter. Henrik quickly replied, "You are right. I'll go and take a look at Shanye right away and shan't disturb you and Mr. Nightshare. Mr. Nightshare, please make yourself at home." A crease appeared between Vincent's brows when he heard that. "Make myself at home? Do the Southalls really think that we are on the same level?" The man took a glance at Henrik but decided to spare him the ridicule. After Henrik left, Vincent said, "I'm not here to attend the function. I only waited until now to make sure that there are really no wishes you want me to fulfill for you. Are there?" Ariel was feeling somewhat helpless. The truth was that before she returned to the country, she had only gathered detailed information on the Southalls and knew nothing about the economic situation in the country. However, the Nightshare family had such a powerful influence in the country that one would have heard of them even without research. Besides, from the guests and Henrik's reactions, it was apparent that Vincent was definitely a big shot in the country. However, Ariel had only performed the duties expected of a medical personnel on the island and nothing more. Except for the fact that they had slept together. But the woman would rather believe that nothing of that sort had happened. In a determined manner, Ariel replied, "Vincent, I appreciate your kind offer, but there's really no need for that. If there was really something she wanted, she was fully capable of getting it herself." The woman had never depended on anyone else. The crease between Vincent's brows deepened when he heard Ariel's words. "Woman, do you know what you have just turned down?" Vincent did not believe that there was anyone who would reject such an offer from him, any wish that he would grant. As such, it did not make sense to him that Ariel kept rejecting him. Vincent wished he could check if there was something wrong with that woman's brain. Looking at how serious Vincent was with regards to granting her that wish, for some unknown reason, Ariel couldn't help but feel amused by it. She shrugged and replied, "Maybe you could enlighten me on what I have just turned down. Was it my Mr. Right? Oh, also, my name is not woman." "What's your name then?" "My name is Sanye." Sanye was Ariel's nickname given to her by her overseas adopted parents. "Got it. You still haven't told me what your wish is." Seeing how insistent the man was, Ariel joked, "If you really want to repay me, why don't you marry me?" Vincent was speechless after hearing Ariel's wish and had a complicated expression on his face. Seeing how tense the atmosphere had become, Ariel cleared her throat and tried to ease the tension. "I was just joking. Anyway, just forget it. There's really nothing I need." "I can do that." Vincent suddenly spoke. "What?" Ariel was stunned and asked in disbelief. "What can you do?" Vincent regained his composure and with his usual cold expression, he replied, "I can grant you your wish. But I have to discuss it with my family first, as it does not concern me alone." "Hold on." Ariel widened her eyes in shock and was at a loss for words. "You didn't take my words seriously, right? I've already said that I was just joking." "Well, sometimes people disguise their true thoughts as jokes. But I really meant it as a joke. I'm not interested in you at all." Vincent looked lost for a moment before he replied, "Why, every girl in Jadborough dreams of marrying me. But that doesn't include me. Anyway, I'll be giving you my answer later on. I'll get going first." Vincent left after he finished speaking, obviously not trusting that the woman was really just joking. After Vincent left, his bodyguards, who were waiting at one corner, followed behind him. "Hey, stop right there. We haven't finished talking yet," Ariel shouted behind Vincent as she chased after him. However, she was blocked by the man's bodyguards. "Sorry, miss. You can't go there. But I've something important to tell him." However, the bodyguards did not allow her to pass. Apparently, without Vincent's permission, no one was allowed to get near him. That was also the reason no one dared to approach Vincent, including the socialites who admired him and other men who want to make use of him to climb up the social ladder. As such, Ariel had no choice but could only watch as Vincent left in his helicopter, feeling frustrated that the man seemed to have taken her joking statement seriously. However, her worries dissipated soon after. After all, no one in their right minds would take that seriously. Repay someone by marrying her. Such ridiculous practices are non-existent in the modern era. It's just not possible that anyone would really consider that proposal seriously. That guy must be just joking with me. I almost fell for it as he looked so serious. I guess that's just his unique style. Ariel pouted at that thought, quite certain that she had been tricked by Vincent. As such, she was no longer fretting over how she should explain to the man. Instead, she started wondering about the manor that used to belong to the Moores. What actually happened that wiped out the Moores who got replaced by the Southalls? Thanks for listening to the Brava Novel audiobook. Welcome to download the Brava Novel app. Read the novel Obsessed CEO Throws Himself at Me online and get the latest updates.